Hi everyone, I hope all of you guys are doing well. So today is a Sunday and I thought why not have a small conversation with all of you and informally discuss with all of you, informally tell all of you who are planning to appear for UPSC, who are planning to become future IAS, IPS, IFS officers, go to the various services of India and serve the country, to talk to you actually about what kind of work that I do professionally, little bit about what kind of a personal life you will probably have, how much time will you get for your family, and at the end of this two topics also a little bit talk about what are basic things I want to take away for preparation, because obviously the most important thing for you today is preparation. So I will talk a little bit about the preparation part also. So first of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience as an officer. What makes you satisfied once you come into this job? What is it that you really become proud of? You really you take away on a daily basis something that you will cherish for your life, because that is the most important thing at the end of the day, right? From a profession, you just don't want money and you just don't want power. You also want satisfaction. You also want an ability for yourself to be able to self-actualize. Okay, this is my purpose on earth and this is what I'm supposed to do, right? And that will keep changing also according to time. But you should be satisfied, you should be happy at the end of the day, and you should also be making some what of a difference, because this is just not a job, it's a service. It is a service to the country, and it is also a profession overall which will help you to grow both professionally and personally. So that is why I wanted to discuss some soft aspects of the work so that you get an idea exactly what is it like to be an officer, especially as an IS officer. See, the first day I remember, very vividly I remember, the first day when my training started. I landed in Nagpur. My training was supposed to be in Wardha. Wardha is a district near Nagpur. It's a very, very historical district where Mahatma Gandhi ji also lived. And in this district, my probation or my training was supposed to start. So I packed all my bags, and from after 1 year of training in Labasna, I reached Nagpur, and from there, this small vehicle, this sumo vehicle, the old classic government vehicle came to pick me up, and I went to Wardha. So a lot of you have expectations. Once you join the service, you will get big vehicles, you will get the best facilities, you might be getting big houses, but that is not true. The entire year that year I had spent in that sumo only, and I developed such a good bond with my driver. I still talk to him sometimes, he messages me, he keeps messaging me on WhatsApp every festival or so. But that is a very, very fond memory itself. And the first housing that I got was actually government guest house housing, which is very, very average housing. If you go to a private sector, you would not even like to kind of compare those two, right? So I lived in this government guest house for almost a year, packing my bags from one room to another, because sometimes what would happen is that some very, very big dignitary would be visiting. So I had to move from the bigger room to the smaller room, so that that particular dignitary could get the space. All right. So this is how your life will kind of shift. This is how your life will be in the first few years in service, because you are still a junior officer. And as a junior officer, it's not necessary that you will be getting big houses or big bungalows, or you might be getting vehicles. This is such a classic kind of a representation done by the media, done by some clips that you see on Instagram or social media, but this is not the truth. When you're starting your job, when you're starting your career in the services, you will have to make do with whatever you have, because you are at very junior positions, and at in a lot of districts or in a lot of places, not many facilities are available in these posts, because they might be new districts, or over the period of time the upgradation might not have happened for these facilities, or it might be happening right now. All right. So पहले अपने दिमाग से निकाल दो कि मैं जिस दिन services join करूँगा, I'm going to get all these amazing facilities. It's nothing like that. You will get good facilities. You will get facilities that you can definitely be comfortable with, but it is nothing like what the media portrays it to be. It is still a little bit of a challenging phase in the first few years. After that, obviously, once you become a senior officer, you move to the cities, you move to the bigger cities, or you move to positions like the collector or the SP of the district, and there generally most of these facilities are well taken care of. But even then, it's not necessary that sometimes there is a lack of funds, so certain houses might be out of repair and all that. So those kind of real life or realistic challenges are there in the field, and you will have to just adopt as you go. But that being said, that is not the biggest perk of the job. Let's say you get a good house, you get a good vehicle or whatever. That is not the perk. That is just what is given to you so that your job is facilitated. So that once you're moving from one district to another district, to another new place, it is not possible to always be able to find housing. That will waste a lot of time. So it is easy that you shift to another place, quickly get a house and start your work. And that is why this housing is facilitated. And That is how you can get your job done in a more efficient manner, because you don't have to then think about that particular aspect. So that being said, the biggest perk of the job, I believe, is, to be honest, getting to know the people where you are working, getting to know the general public, as well as getting to know the um, various organizations, various NGOs, various um, associations that are working in the district, with whom you can work and you can actually make a real difference. See, an IAS officer or an IPS officer never works in a silo. He cannot afford to work in a silo. He is not an authority completely by himself or herself. If you think that the entire load of the development is on the district collector in the district, that is not true. There are a lot of regulatory aspects that are in the hands of the collector and the IPS, also the SP or the commissioner, whatever is the position. And there are a lot of development aspects that are in the hands of the collector or the CEO or the corporation commissioner, whoever is there, right? So all these, lot of aspects are in their hands, and lot of aspects are also not in their hands. Realistically speaking, lot of other development that is happening is directly happening through the government or happening through the private sector. But what a collector, what a DM, or what a corporation commissioner, what a police commissioner, what a SP, they act as the fulcrums of the district. They act as a single point persons who can facilitate a lot of things in the district, and who, if come together and who, if are working efficiently in their domain, can work with the public to make a lot of changes in the district. Obviously, this is all gradual and incremental change. See, you cannot our country is vast, our districts are vast, and we face a lot of problems, including poverty. Poverty is one of the biggest problems, which cannot be solved overnight, which cannot even be solved in 1 or 2 years. It takes a lot of time and incremental change, because there is a lot of systematic problems that come, right? So the whole job of the IAS officer in that district is to lead the district, is to provide a governance vision to the district along with the political bosses, because the political input and the political aspirations are also very important. So you have to also count that in, because the vision is provided by the elected politicians, elected leaders of the district, and under this entire umbrella of different stakeholders, there is media, there is NGOs, civil society, there are general public, there is your seniors, people who are supervising you, your senior officers, then there is the elected representatives, then there is different parts of the society within the district, right? Under all these stakeholders, you have to take them together, and you have to find a way to achieve goals in different dimensions of development or regulation in the district through them. So for example, I will give you, during the COVID times, it was not possible to just work in a silo that the district collector could pass in an order and that was the law of the land in that district. That is not possible. That particular person, the district collector, the DM, the SP, had to take a lot of people in confidence, including the medical community, including the police people, including the revenue department, the tehsildars, the patwaris. All these people had to be taken in confidence to work and to implement the government policy, whatever the government policy was, and also to accordingly be able to meet the challenges of that district, whatever were the unique challenges of that district. Obviously, a place like Delhi would not have the same challenges as the place like Gadchiroli, right? So they had to meet the different challenges of the districts that were given in front of them in that short amount of time. And that is not easy. It's a very difficult job. A lot of people from outside can have their opinions. They're free to have their opinions, but when you get onto the field, it's a completely different ballgame altogether. So governance is one aspect, and it is mired situations on a daily basis, but overall, there has to be both short-term and long-term understandings of what you want to do, and that is how you have to work, right? So that is one aspect. Then there is aspect of administration. There is aspect of regulation. There's a lot of regulatory work also, and there is a lot different aspects of development works that have to happen in the district. So, and all of these are very interlinked. See, if a lot of people talk about expertise and a lot of people talk about how all these things should be separated completely, well, that in my opinion does not work, because all these things are very much interlinked, and there has to be one CEO. Like a company has a CEO who wears different hats, who becomes an HR manager, who becomes a technology expert, not an expert, but he can have an opinion and understanding and insight about technology. He understands marketing, he understands operations, logistics, all these different sides. Similarly, the head of the district, the principal officer of the district has to understand all these different things, the challenges faced by the district and the people that are involved in the district, and he has to work, bring them together, make it work all together. And that is the primary job. That is the primary job of a district officer or a DM. Along with that, there are also certain works that you can do as in whatever you are passionate about. So I got to work in many fields I was very passionate about. When I was working in Jalna, I identified that there was a problem of obviously water. So I was thinking of working in rainwater harvesting. I was thinking of working in plantation, mass forestations. When I was in Gadchiroli, I was very interested in working for some kind of a training center or some kind of a training for the tribal youth, as well as upgrading the infrastructure of that area, because that was really in a dilapidated state. So those are the things I picked up. I went there, I learned what are the certain things that I could work on. In Gadchiroli, I also wanted to work in forest rights, and in community forest rights, I was able to do a lot of work. So these are certain things that once you go there, you identify that these are the things that I want to work in. And then apart from the government, whatever the government has a mandate, you also work in those areas so that you can contribute something positively. That is what gives you satisfaction at the end of the day. So when I was in Jalna, for example, I worked on plantation in one of the talukas of Jalna. We did this massive plantation of 50 to 60,000 saplings in one area. We did not use any government funds to start with. We got all the different officers, gram sevaks or the secretaries of the villages together and got them to contribute. We got the village to contribute. We got the different people who were interested to contribute, and from this contribution, this entire work of plantation in this area was done. Went to do the plantation there, and it was so great to see the enthusiastic work done by the people there. And after that, I did not expect, but one day I got a call from the Sarpanch of that village, and he told me, sir, I want to come and visit you, because the plantation that we did is doing so well, and we need to do certain more work so that it gets protected, it gets saved. So he came all the way to meet me from Jalna to Thane, which is almost overnight train, at 10-12 hour journey, and he made this amazing book. He's the collector. Here's me. Here is that Sarpanch, where they left me a beautiful message. And this was not only the Sarpanch, it was also including the BDO at that time, Praful Lokhande, and other people Lohareji, and all these people who were involved in this. They wrote me this beautiful message, and they, left these pictures where we did this entire plantation. So they made this beautiful book, handmade this beautiful book. See, I will show you this book. So this is what brings you satisfaction, because even after 3-4 months of you having moved from the district, people still remember you. People still, give you all the credit, even though I just pushed them a little bit. I did not do anything on the ground apart from showing up on that day and planting the trees. But the entire work was done by the people of the village, by the gram sevaks, by the panchayat secretaries, by the BDO. Entire planning was done by them. But I just gave them a nudge. I just gave them a push that हमें ये करना है, so let's do it somehow. So this is what I feel a lot of times is your job, is to push them, is to give them ideas, is to sit down with them, plan with them, and show them the direction. And after that, obviously you monitor and you follow up, because you want it to be actually done, right? You don't want to fall behind and not to have some idea and not see it coming to reality if it is doable. So this is what you get satisfaction from. Obviously, you are working in the bigger picture, bigger machinery of things, that you are implementing various government schemes, you are implementing the vision of the government, and it improves lives. But you are also working, on the other hand, you take up a few assignments yourself and you try to achieve them, try to get them done, so that there is a positive change wherever you are. Now, apart from that, one more thing that I wanted to talk about was that, so that is the biggest takeaway, you get close to the people, and that is what you remember. There are some people who will call you even after 5-10 years. It has been 2-3 years and I still get some calls from some other people, right? So that is the biggest takeaway. So this rich experience, this meeting a lot of new people, meeting different stakeholders, this network that you build is absolutely invaluable, which you don't get in a lot of other places. All right, you don't have a tunnel vision. You have to think in a very broad way, and that is what you learn in this particular service, and that is how also you contribute in this particular service. Apart from that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the preparation, right? You are reading Lakshmikant Polity, you might be reading Spectrum right now. All these books I still have. I somehow carried them everywhere I went. And of course, I use them to teach you also. So these books, or you might be reading The Art of Answer Writing, Acing the Art of Answer Writing, that I recently wrote. So any of these books when you're reading, I think very, very important thing is that there is no dearth of content available out there. You can read the same thing from hundreds of sources and get something new every time. So there's a lot of content that is available out there when it comes to UPSC. But it is very important that you pinpoint the sources from which you are going to do this content. Maybe sometimes plus minus 1 or 2 additional sources you can always add, but not more than that. Let's say you are reading Spectrum, Modern India for history, freedom struggle history of India, and some of the years preceding that and after that. There is other books also. There is obviously the book by Bipin Chandra, which is available out there. But that doesn't mean that I have to read only one book. Why should I not read another book? You can read Spectrum, then you can use that book to revise, because there's a lot of similar content. So even if there are two books for the same subjects, I think asking the question, sir, kaun si padhun? Yes, you can ask the question, sir, I want to start the preparation, which one should I refer to? And maybe after that you can switch to the other one also to revise. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that it doesn't matter. A lot of times students get very hung up कि मैंने तो spectrum अच्छी तरह कर लिया है, फिर भी मेरे question solve नहीं हो रहे हैं. So what you should do is, even if you have not being able to solve the questions properly, that means आपके पढ़ने के तरीके में कुछ problem है. You are not actually reading the things analytically. You are not able to get the answers, not because of the memorization or anything, but just because you are not understanding the content from the book. All right. So to solve that problem, what you do is you do a lot of practice. And that is what I try to do in this book also, in Acing the Art of Answer Writing. I try to do a lot of practice, because at the end of the day, what matters is your practice, and only practice will kind of make you set apart from another aspirant. Now that doesn't mean that you will only keep practicing and you will not study anything. You will study very superfluously. You will study very superfluously, and you will not put attention into things. But what I would say is, एक बार अच्छी तरह से content करो. Let's say you have studied environment properly, and then go ahead and do the questions from prelims and mains. Do a little bit of questions so that you know where you stand, and this is how you practice. So in this book, what I do is, of course, I try to do that. I try to tell students again and again that same thing, and I try to make them do it through examples. So I would want you to study whatever you're studying. Let's say you're studying Indian polity. You've done this book once. Now, a lot of students ask me, sir, कितनी बार revise करनी है? 8-9 times. See, everyone has different capabilities. Some people might just revise it once or twice and be good. Some people might have to revise it 10 times. I revise it tens of times, right? But what mattered is practice. After revising, I practiced from the back of the book questions. I practiced from different test series. I practiced from mains. And through that practice, I was able to improve myself. Through the practice only you will improve. By just studying content, you will not be able to perform well in the exam. So that is what I wanted to tell you about preparation, that practice को नज़रअंदाज मत करो, उसको पीछे मत छोड़ो या उस पर कम focus मत करो. You have to focus equally on the practice part also. All right. So I hope today's little bit of storytelling, little bit of preparation will help you. You know, it was just an informal chat I wanted to have with you guys, not give you any tips or something, but just have a conversation, and so that you can also feel that it is not always हमेशा एग्जाम मोड में नहीं रहना है. थोड़ा सा एग्जाम मोड से बाहर आके भी चीज़ों को देखना चाहिए. That is also very, very important, so that your mind gets refreshed. All right, so have a good Sunday. Take care of yourself, and if you have any questions, leave in the comments. I try to get a maximum of those questions answered, but if there are some left, write it again. We'll try to get back to you. All right, thanks. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.